Published 1931 EDT, the 10th of September 2017. Updated 0522 EDT, the 11th of September 2017. For Celtic, the visit of Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday requires them to perform a delicate balancing act. Be too passive, as they undoubtedly were in Barcelona a year ago, and the likes of Neymar, Kylian Mbappe and Edinson Cavani are capable of running riot. Be too aggressive, and, as Scott Brown will painfully testify, the game can be lost in a heartbeat. Paris Saint-Germain made a huge statement when they signed Neymar from Barcelona. Kylian Mbappe scored on his PSG debut as his new team beat Metz by 5 goals to 1. Rewind to 2013 and the Catalans' one-goal win in Glasgow, in which I played. Neymar used all his cunning to ensure the minimal contact between himself and the Celtic captain was brought to the referee's attention. Celtic's chances of beating them probably evaporated the minute the red card was produced. Let's be blunt here, Neymar is a phenomenal footballer, a truly extraordinary talent, one who has changed the whole dynamic of PSG following his £198 million transfer from the Nou camp. But he is also no stranger to the dark arts of the game either. It's imperative the Celtic do not give him scope to show this unfortunate side of his game. At 11v11, Celtic face a Herculean task, as Metz discovered on Friday. Competing against PSG while a man short is virtually impossible. Scott will have been counting the seconds to see the whites of Neymar's eyes again. Every Celtic player will be itching to get to work. Yet no one can lose sight of the need to be disciplined for every second they are on the park. Edinson Cavani has been in blistering form this season and will be a major threat to the Hoops. Referee Daniele Orsato booked 7 players and gave Barcelona a penalty when he took charge of the Champions League clash in Glasgow last year. That's all the warning anyone should need. It's hard to find the adequate words to praise the way Scott has performed since Brendan Rodgers came in. He's taken his game to a whole new level. He's a natural vocal leader, but his technical ability is something I feel HES never had the proper praise for. So often found on the front foot this season. On Monday, he'll be more preoccupied with ensuring his Brazilian nemesis doesn't have things all his own way. Not for a second am I underestimating the threat offered by PSG in other areas. But I sincerely believe if Scott delivers the kind of midfield masterclass he is capable of to stifle Neymar, Celtic have every chance of getting something from the game. Scott Brown will have to be at his best in order to put the shackles on Neymar. The pair meet again, having gone head-to-head during the 201,617 Champions League season. Just look at the attacking options Rodgers has: Scott Sinclair, Patrick Robertson, James Forrest, Lee Griffiths, Odsonne Edouard and, perhaps, Moussa Dembele. That's a front line which will create chances and take them. Celtic will not go gung-ho against a team with the counter-attacking prowess of PSG. But going for the jugular at the right moments, in the right numbers, can reap benefits. The obvious concern is at the other end of the field, where Jose Simunovic appears to be the only fully fit centre-half. Does Brendan play Christopher Adrian in there, or does he move Mikael Lustig in one and put Anthony Ralston to right back? It's a huge call. It goes without saying that whoever is selected will face as big a challenge as ever. I honestly believe this PSG side might well be a more frightening proposition than the Barcelona side Celtic played, and, of course, beat, in 2012. They've scored 19 goals in just 5 league games to date. They look a different proposition to the side which folded 61 in that second leg in Barcelona last term. That's not to say that this is mission impossible for Celtic, though. Far from it, in fact. Celtic geared up for the Champions League encounter with a convincing win over Hamilton, but this PSG side are arguably better than the Barca one that dismantled them 12 months ago. Take it from me, a capacity crowd at Celtic Park on such nights is an extraordinary force. For the home players, it acts as a source of extra energy and inspiration. For many opponents, it shakes you to the bone. I don't care who you are or what your price tag was. If you are human, it resonates with you. It was the single biggest factor in us beating Barca 5 years ago. The minutes before the game are a bit of a blur, but the one moment I do recall is just before we headed out to the pitch and the calmness of Neil Lennon. He stood silent in the middle of the changing room, put his finger to his lips and pointed to the ceiling. We stood in silence listening to the noise of the Celtic fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." I'd never heard it sung so loud. Neil is great at knowing the right words to use at exactly the right time. When the rendition was over, he simply said, "Use it." All I wanted to then do was get on the field and perform. It was truly inspirational and still a moment that makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. I dare say that players who will take the field on Monday will experience something similar. Don't discount the possibility of them achieving another momentous result. Happiness off the park is a must for hitting form on it. Happiness off the park is a must for hitting form on it. You can never underestimate the importance of being happy off the park if you are going to perform to your best on it. Call Stuart Armstrong to the stand. The midfielder had a much-publicized standoff with Celtic at the start of the season over his contract. While negotiations were ongoing, Brendan Rodgers pulled him out of the starting 11 on numerous occasions. Celtic's Stuart Armstrong is back to playing at his best now that his off-field issues are sorted and the evidence of the limited game time he was given. It was clear his mind wasn't on the job in hand, and, frankly, he didn't look a happy chap. Roll on a month, though, and having put pen to paper on his contract, he's not only back to his scoring best for Celtic but playing a pivotal role in Scotland's success as well. If his form continues like this, it's inevitable he'll be linked with a move down to England again before too long, but that's a problem for another day. For now, the only people who should be concerned about this revitalized figure are his direct opponents. Nevertheless, players need to stay sensible. Being great at the Christmas party season may still be some way off, but I suspect some managers are already looking forward to it with all the relish of a trip to the dentist. The last couple of weeks has seen Aberdeen's Gary McKeisteven fished out of the River Kelvin and Wayne Rooney charged with drink driving. We can only hope that both alleged incidents are isolated, because the game can laugh at them to become common practice. Wayne Rooney was selected by Everton at the weekend despite a drink-driving charge. Gary McKeisteven left now at Aberdeen had to be fished out of the River Kelvin. Like any profession, there's a need to blow off some steam at times. Provided a sensible head is kept, there is nothing wrong with it. But there's no escaping the fact that the responsibility on the shoulders of players these days is greater. In this digital age, you are really out of the public eye. You can never truly let your guard or yourself down. It's not just the reputation of an individual that is on the line. That of family, friends and employers suffer too.